there is one thing that is commendable about this Pink October month is the active participation of youth in raising awareness on breast cancer. This is the case with youth of the ICTU-University. Education at the heart of the fight against breast cancer is the theme of a conference organized by Miss Cameroon through the Nunji Foundation and Miss Mbalalo of the ICTU-University this October 16 at the university campus in Yaoundé.
I was collaborating with Miss Cameroon 2024 on this conference about breast cancer, and we decided to do it at the ICTU-University because we don't just educate students at the ICTU-University. According to the training, we educate equally on other things concerning the society. That is why we are in October. We decided to make a conference about Pink October that is dedicated to breast cancer month.
Late menopause, late pregnancy, intake of contraceptive, alcohol consumption are some of the factors that favor breast cancer. These issues were presented by medical experts and psychologists that took part at the conference. They equally gave out vital preventive measures to follow while pointing out that not only women are prone to breast cancer.
Very, very shocking information. I got the shock personally, but however, through this conference, we are now aware that men too can be exposed to breast cancer, and actually we know how we can prevent it from touching men.
The ceremony was an opportunity for a call to be made for everyone to take part in the fight against breast cancer.
Informer, éduquer et communiquer sont les mots-clés utilisés ce 16 octobre 2024 par les experts de santé présents à ICTU-University pour sensibiliser sur le cancer du sein.
Le cancer du sein représente le premier cancer le plus meurtrier au Cameroun et dans le monde. Et en termes de prévalence, c'est également le premier cancer, c'est le cancer le plus répandu et on a tellement de nouveaux cas chaque année. Et on ne cessera jamais de sensibiliser dessus parce que c'est quelque chose de très agressif et ça touche les jeunes femmes.
L'éducation au cœur de la lutte contre le cancer du sein était le thème majeur de la conférence.
Ce cancer n'est pas juste une maladie, c'est une épreuve, un combat et parfois une injustice qui ne dit pas son nom. Les violences qu'elles subissent vont au-delà du diagnostic médical. Ces femmes, déjà affaiblies par la maladie, doivent souvent faire face à des jugements sociaux, au rejet et à une précarité économique.
Ainsi, durant cette période d'échange et de partage, les jeunes venus des 4 points de Yaoundé ont été édifiés sur le sujet. Les experts n'ont pas seulement présenté la maladie, ils ont aussi donné les conseils sur comment se comporter avec les victimes du cancer du sein.
Il est important d'être accompagné par un psychologue, d'être entouré sur le plan émotionnel surtout parce que c'est le plus difficile sur le plan psychique. Que ce soit par des amis, ne pas apporter un jugement surtout. Surtout donner de l'amour, beaucoup d'amour et du réconfort à la personne atteinte du cancer. Parce que sans ça, la personne va beaucoup déprimer.
Le dépistage, l'autopalpation, les consultations, la pratique du sport 3 fois par semaine, donner naissance avant l'âge de 30 ans sont entre autres les méthodes préventives de lutte contre le cancer du sein données ce jour par les médecins.
With the first rays of the morning sun, she steps out of her house in a typical rural setting, gets set for what she holds close to her heart as her office. With her headscarf fastened, her socks first and then her boots well in place, she is set to go. She heads to the farm where she tills the soil, plants and harvests because she knows she is the breadbasket of the nation. She cultivates from food crops to cash crops because she is the rural woman on whom the nation relies for supplies. The rural woman, who is probably not given enough accolades, is the backbone of the nation. Little wonder why October 15 every year is set aside to highlight the role and situation of women in rural areas. The theme for this 2024 edition, Rural Women Cultivating Good Food for All, highlights their contributions from crop production to food distribution, despite facing systemic inequalities such as limited access to land, financial resources, and decision-making power. With her limited resources, she resorts to local means of conservation, making do with her traditional methods of food preservation. The rural woman in Cameroon, like her mates across Africa, basically face similar challenges. Meanwhile, from production of crops to processing, preparing, and distributing food, women's paid and unpaid labor feed their families and communities. Certain cultural and traditional practices place lots of limitations on rural women who could do more if exposed to favorable conditions. The International Day of Rural Women recognizes the critical role and contribution of rural women in enhancing agricultural development, improving food security, and eradicating rural poverty.
With a population of about 26 million people, over 55% of Cameroonians live in poverty, which affects several aspects of their lives from health to education, living conditions and work, among others. 37.7% of people are severely impoverished. The incidence of poverty is particularly high in rural parts of the northern and eastern regions, where structural underdevelopment and recurring climatic shocks, including floods and prolonged dry spells, limit people's ability to thrive. Cameroon faces large-scale, complex and protracted crises. Since 2014, the country has been experiencing influx of refugees fleeing violent conflict in northeast Nigeria. Jihadist incursion and frequent attacks in Cameroon's far north region are also causing internal displacement and disrupting local agricultural production and livelihood. Furthermore, political instability and armed conflict in the Central African Republic has been forcing Central African Republic refugees into the East, Adamawa, and North regions. Since 2017, the Northwest and Southwest regions have been affected by conflict between state security forces and non-state armed groups seeking autonomy for the two English-speaking regions. The agricultural sector dominates the economy, employing 62% of the labor force and accounting for 15% of the gross domestic product. However, the effects of climate change, traditional agricultural practices, high post-harvest losses, and fragmented markets undermine sector's ability to significantly contribute towards improved income, especially for smallholder farmers. Poor road infrastructure and land degradation also severely limit people's access to sufficient nutrition food. The crises are putting pressure on the country's natural resources and social services, worsening pre-existing vulnerabilities with socio-economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic that has exacerbated the situation. Working with governments and other partners, the World Food Programme helps Cameroon to achieve zero hunger by responding to the immediate food and nutrition needs of crisis-affected populations and implementing an integrated package of interventions, including activities to improve the long-term resilience of communities. With humanitarian access remaining a challenge, the World Food Programme facilitates access to hard-to-reach regions by providing passenger and cargo air services, enabling humanitarian staff and assistance to reach those in need on time. Apart from this, the World Bank observed that poverty is equally caused by issues such as corruption, poor governance, poor judicial system, heavy debt burden, low investment, mismanagement of human and material resources, which tend to plunge African countries into poverty and inequality.
In a significant step towards sustainable local development, the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development, led by Minister Georges Elanga-Obam, launched a groundbreaking methodological guide for the development of municipal and urban community development plans. The guide, developed in partnership with UNDP, FACOM, sectoral administrations, and local authorities, was presented on October 16, 2024 in Yaoundé. Designed to empower Cameroon's 374 municipalities and urban communities, The innovative guide outlines an 8-stage process for creating comprehensive development plans. These include, amongst others, establishing the groundwork for the development process, engaging stakeholders to identify local needs and challenges, as well as analyzing future trends and opportunities for the community. The guide is a cornerstone of Cameroon's effort to develop new generation development plans that are aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals (SND30). By integrating resource sustainability tools and actionable strategies, these plans aim to drive sustainable and inclusive local development. To ensure effective implementation, the ministry will provide training to local elected officials, municipal agents, and executives of decentralized sectoral administrations. This training will equip them with the knowledge and skills necessary to utilize the methodological guide and create impactful development plans for their communities.
La digitalisation des enseignements reste un défi au Cameroun. Cependant, le ministère des Enseignements secondaires vient de faire un grand pas vers l'avant. Du 10 au 11 octobre dernier, professeur Pauline Nalovalionga a séjourné dans la région du Sud-Ouest, plus précisément dans la ville de Limbé. C'était à l'effet d'effectuer des tests de production de leçons digitalisées au bénéfice simultané des élèves des 10 régions du Cameroun. Un projet qui tombe à pic avec des objectifs aussi grand que novateur. Entre autres, la modernisation des enseignements, la palliation du problème du déficit des enseignants. En effet, 634 établissements sur l'étendue du territoire avec un total de 4000 élèves de terminale et opacite ont pris part au test. Ils ont reçu simultanément un cours de mathématiques, un autre de français et enfin une leçon en sciences informatiques. Comme on dit, premier essai que de maître. Selon les réponses données par les participants, ce fut un travail irréprochable. Toujours dans le Sud-Ouest, le professeur Pauline Nalovalionga a profité pour inaugurer la salle informatique du lycée technique de Bimbia, restaurée. Du Sud-Ouest, le rendez-vous a été pris dans le Grand Nord afin d'expérimenter ce projet dénommé Bridge the Gap, Change the Narrative. En français, réduire les écarts, changer les discours.